Howdy, howdy. Today we're going to be doing a Let's Play of Silent Hill 2, which is a survival horror game that came out in 2001.
Mary, could you really be in this town?
So we're introduced to our protagonist, James Sunderland, in this really nasty restroom.
In my restless dreams, I see that town, Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said, Mary. My wife's name. It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself. A dead person can't write a letter. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. So then, why am I looking for her? Our special place. What could she mean? This whole town was our special place. Does she mean the park on the lake? We spent the whole day there. Just the two of us, staring at the water. Could Mary really be there? Is she really alive? Waiting for me?
So this is the second game in the pretty famous Silent Hill series. Get this map here. It's generally regarded as the best one in the series because the story doesn't focus on cults and stuff like that, but rather it focuses on just this dude looking for his wife. Camera control is pretty much non-existent and pretty bad, but the gameplay can be pretty clunky too, but as far as atmosphere and narrative goes, I think this is by far the best one in the series. The fog is pretty much ubiquitous every time you're outdoors. It's everywhere, and it's one of the hallmarks of the Silent Hill series. It was originally used in Silent Hill 1 because of the graphical limitations of the PlayStation 1, actually. It made it to where they didn't have to render things in the distance, but it turned out to actually give the game a really fantastic atmosphere, so they kept it for all the later Silent Hill games that came out on more powerful consoles. And here we're going to meet our first NPC.
Excuse me,
Oh, I'm sorry. I
No,
was
it's
just...
okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah. I'm looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
Yeah. It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But
Yes?
I think you'd better stay away. This, this town, there's something wrong with it. It's kind of hard to explain, but
Is it dangerous?
maybe. And it's not just the fog either.
Okay,
It's...
I got it. I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you. It's just... I guess I really don't care if it's dangerous or not. I'm going to town either way.
But why?
I'm looking for someone.
Who is it?
Someone very important to me. I'd do anything if I could be with her again.
Me too. I'm looking for my mama. I mean my mother. It's been so long since I've seen her. I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either. I'm sorry. It's not your
No,
problem.
I hope you find them.
Yeah, you too.
There's one of the better examples of some fairly poor writing and voice acting that a lot of Japanese translated games are kind of known for, especially in this era. If it looks like the guy's running like he's drunk, it's because of the control setup and the camera. I'm using the directional controls. When the game first came out, you had to use tank controls. For those of you who aren't familiar, tank controls are where pressing forward moves your character forward in the direction that they're facing, as opposed to the joystick more or less being mapped to where the camera is facing. But because this game has a lot of weird forced camera perspectives, sometimes the directional control scheme can look kind of wonky, especially during camera transitions. As you probably noticed, we're just doing a whole bunch of jogging towards town. Really not a whole lot happening. I kind of like this design decision, though. It gives the impression to the player that there's really no sense in turning back at this point, because you've already committed so much time running forward. It's a very deliberate move. Still walking. Anyway, I suppose I should have said this earlier, but for those of you who aren't familiar, Silent Hill is a series of games. The best ones came out in the early to mid 2000s. First one came out in 99, I believe, and it's in the survival horror genre, but I qualify it more as being a sort of psychological horror. There's not a whole lot of jump scares. I think there's only one or two in this game, and it's more around the atmosphere than anything. one of the things too that stands out about the series is that pretty much all the protagonists that you play as in the first few games, at least, they're not exactly complete badasses. They're just more or less ordinary folks. So the combat, despite feeling really clumsy from a mechanics standpoint, it kind of works because these people aren't fighters. They're just average folks, which I think lends to itself to a better horror experience than playing as some special forces person or police officer like you would commonly in the Resident Evil games. Also, I really like the way that this beginning is done with the blood trails sort of drawing the player's eye and leading them on, as opposed to some mini-map flashing with objectives and things like that. Like, if you look at our map here, there's really not a whole lot going on. He's got the park underlined because he thinks his wife is there, but that's about it. There's no big arrows or no directions being indicated for you. You gotta figure it out yourself.
Is it dead? What the hell is it? It's not human. Oh yeah. This thing broken? What the? I better take it anyway. I might need it.
So the radio is one of those famous things that the Silent Hill games always used. It basically blares static anytime a monster is nearby. Sort of gives you a heads up, but at some parts of the game I'll probably disable it. All of the save points in the game, too, are marked by these red squares, which I find kind of interesting. I guess they stand out a lot. Yeah, the game will also kind of give you a hint when you're going the wrong direction when you see a road that just completely breaks off into a bottomless pit. Let's see. Remains of blank swamp. The blankers land surrounded blank. This monument was originally swamp, but later filled. Something ago, something nicknamed Blood Swamp because the blankers blank poured the blank to wash the blank in here. Perhaps it's for the best that many people seem to have... Yeah, I'm not sure. The area. There's a couple of things like that throughout the game where you only get partial information. There's one of the only jump scares in the game. Apartment gate key. Alright, looks like we'll be going out and taking a right here. I don't know why the cockroach sounds like a bicycle. It's kind of really weird. Oh, also, I guess I should comment, the design of these monsters, the lying figure, I believe one of the art directors for the game said that he got inspiration from it when he saw a coworker that was coming into work wearing a hoodie and listening to music and just kind of bobbing his head. That's where that design came from. I'm probably not going to bother killing too many monsters on this playthrough. It's just, generally it's just a waste of time. You can easily navigate around most of them. They're not very agile or anything. The door that wakes in darkness, opening into nightmares. Actually, I'm probably going to turn that radio off while indoors. It's a little bit irritating. Alright, let's start exploring some rooms. Locked. Locked. I like that little design choice there. Unless you're standing underneath these overhead lights, you can't read the map. It's small but clever. There's a trash chute. There's some kind of strange garbage stuck in the hole. Deal with that later. I think we're going to be ignoring that guy. Let's see if there's anything of interest in here. A really creepy design there. Just looks like mannequin legs glued together. Get some bullets. Oof. Hard to navigate. Uh-oh. We're gonna have to beat this guy up, I think. As you can see, it's a little bit difficult to maneuver in some of these places because of the static camera. Alright, there's nothing else this way. You can try to force the camera to get behind your character like I'm doing, but it's always a little bit clumsy and slow. But it'll still help a lot in these narrow hallways. Television set. The clock is stopped at 10:58 and 15 seconds. The faceplate is closed and it is locked. Can't touch the needles of the clock like this. There's writing on the clock. The scars from the past shall remove the nail that stops time. So evidently we're going to need to set the clock. Henry Mildred Scott, hours, minutes, seconds. Looks like about 9:10. Once we set that clock, we can probably move it because of weird adventure game logic. Let's see. I think we've tried about everything on this floor. I don't think I tried the door to room 201. Let's check that real quick before we try to go to the third floor. Oh, it's because there is no door. The atmospheric sounds in this game are just so good. There's a key on the ground on the other side of the bars. If I stretch my arm out, I just might be able to reach it.
Ow! Hey, wait! Damn it.
Some little girl kicks it away. A little bit odd that James, with this plank with nails in it, decided to try to reach with his arm instead of fish it out with that, but I suppose that's horror logic in general. Also, it sounds like the building is breathing or something. So this little setup right here with the handgun and the shopping cart, I believe that was meant to be a commentary on American gun culture and how easy it is to purchase a variety of firearms and stuff. This game was made in Japan, so the distribution of firearms isn't anything near like what it is in the United States. Okay, let's see if we can... There we go. Well, we've done all we can up here, so let's go back down to the second floor. Sounded like somebody screaming. Oh wait, I forgot one thing too. Oh, he's gone, darn it. We got a little glimpse of the red pyramid thing just standing back there. Kind of passed over it, but that's okay. The astute viewer might notice that the guy who's shot in his chair appears to be using the same character model and wearing the same outfit and everything as our protagonist James here. Key to room 202. Let's have a go at that. One just beyond the stairs. Pardon me? The body of a dead butterfly is on the ground. There's nothing else of interest here. This area was always really interesting to me. I never... Odd. It's too dark to tell for sure, but I think there's something on the other side of the hole. That's always a really disconcerting image, just a guy sticking his hand where he can't see. But we have the clock key now. Go ahead and put that to use. That's right, last room on the right down that hall. Our gunshot victim still hasn't moved. That's good. See, it was 9:10, I believe. We're going to have to use this out of our inventory. There we go. Go ahead and use the save point real quick. Okay, we found access to a new stairwell. So that's our first interaction with the Red Pyramid thing, which would basically go on to become the mascot of the entire Silent Hill series. There we go, there's a key to the courtyard. See. Is there anything else we can try? Oh, all these rooms, okay. There's the fire escape key that the little girl kicked earlier. Oh, it's so painful to try and navigate. Come on out. Anything in here? Camera angles. Let's try these other rooms. Okay, so this looks like a stairwell on the opposite side from where we came in earlier. Okay, that's door leading outside unlocked. Alright. Explore the first floor here. And juice. If I know what we can do with that. Let's see. Let's go use that other stairwell at the end there. He's looking at the monster. One of the nice features that this game employs that you might have noticed is that the character will turn his head if there's something of interest nearby, like things to pick up on the ground. But it'll also do it if there's a monster. Let's see, we didn't try the first floor down here yet. Okay, that's locked. Let's see. That's different. Music there. Alright, there it is. So we just unlodged that garbage using a 6-pack of canned juice. If I recall correctly, the canned juice, there's a fire escape key, was originally supposed to be some sort of alcoholic drink. But in the United States, there isn't really any market for alcoholic fruit drinks, like in a can. So they just made it juice instead. No fire escape outside this door. Maybe they knocked it down when they built the building next door. I think I can get into the building next door if I go through the window in front of me. Okay, well let's head back and pick up that item first. That'll probably be a good leaving off point as well. Next time we can jump across that gap. Garbage bag is torn and the contents are strewn all over. I got a coin. Old man. Some gossip magazine. The police announced today that Walter Sullivan, who was arrested on the 18th of this month for the brutal murder of Billy Locane and his sister Miriam, committed suicide in his jail cell early on the morning of the 22nd. According to the police statement, Sullivan used a soup spoon to stab himself in the neck, severing his carotid artery. By the time the guard discovered him, Sullivan was dead from blood loss, the spoon buried 2 inches in his neck. An old schoolmate of Walter Sullivan's from his hometown of Pleasant River said, quote, "He didn't look like the type of guy who would kill kids, but I do remember that just before they arrested him, he was blurting out all sorts of strange stuff like, 'He's trying to kill me, he's trying to punish me, the monster, the red devil, forgive me, I did it, but it wasn't me.' The schoolmate then added, 'I guess now that I think of it, he was kind of crazy.'" So, kind of a little Easter egg for those of you who have played Silent Hill 4, which wasn't originally meant to be part of the Silent Hill series, actually, but in that game there is, it revolves around the main enemy being Walter Sullivan, actually, which is kind of an interesting link there. Anyway, I think that about does it for now. If you have any questions or comments or want me to talk about something in particular the next time I do one of these, feel free to leave suggestions, and otherwise, have a good one.